Hello, hi everybody. My name is Quinette, and I am the lead therapist at No Enemy Within LLC. And I just wanted to come on here to kind of reintroduce myself and talk about what it is that I do. So, I am a licensed professional counselor in the state of Pennsylvania with a focus on OCD, social phobia, or social anxiety, and depression, and some other anxiety based disorders. I don't really like to say disorders, but pardon me. So I started this channel a while ago and have not put much on here, but I wanted to take the time to come on here just to chit chat. And so I think the first thing is, why choose the name No Enemy Within? It sounds pretty good. But it's rooted in an African proverb that says, when there is no enemy within, the enemy without can do us no harm. And I read that and I thought that was so powerful. Oftentimes, as individuals, we have experiences in our lives, we have people in our lives that have shaped who we are. And even when those experiences have passed, or even when those people have left our lives, or we've left their lives separated for whatever reason, we have changed in some way from those experiences and those people. And at times we can internalize things from those experiences and from those people and then become our own enemy, right? The enemy within us. That conflict that's happening inside of us between who we want to be, who we used to be, between who we are, but who we think we're supposed to be. That conflict between who our family members want us to be, but who society says we have the space to be, who we are according to our religious beliefs, cultural rules and protocols. And so it can just be a big conflict within. And so inside, we become our own enemy, right? So that, what does that look like? What does it mean to be your own enemy, right? Well, first and foremost, let's think about, what does it mean to have an enemy externally, right? That person is in opposition of me. That person is against my success. That person is fighting against me for the same outcome, resources, or whatever. But that person is my adversary, and that person is likely going to do things to ensure that I do not win, ensure that I do not succeed, ensure that things do not work out for me. And so essentially, you become that person for yourself. You begin to do things to ensure that you do not succeed, ensure that you do not win, ensure that things do not work out for you. And it can be subconsciously that you're doing this. It can be indirectly that you're doing this, right? Self-sabotage doesn't always show up as some intentional, planned out thing like, oh, you know what? It's Monday. Things is going great today. You know what though? On Wednesday, I'm going to do something to interrupt this. Yeah, Wednesday, probably right after lunch, I'm going to do that thing that is probably going to mess all this up. Yeah, so by Thursday, it's going to be a terrible day. That's not what we do by any means necessary. By any means, right? Is that what we would do? But it happens like that, right? It can be that like Monday things were good, Tuesday was cool too, then Wednesday things just went to trash. It got real tricky. It started to take a turn. But Thursday and Friday, it's like life sucks. What happened, right? And who knows, right? It could be that you just begin to deviate from a routine that was benefiting you, a good sleep regimen, eating well, journaling or meditating, or keeping your house clean, whatever it was that was helping you, like, yeah, this feels good to me, this is good stuff here. And you may just deviate from that and then find yourself in a place where chaos ensues, right? The house is all a wreck. Your sleep pattern is off. Therefore, you're grumpy, you're irritable, you are late to work. That becomes problematic, right? And you're not planning these things, but it begins to happen. It could be the same thing around being in a relationship, or out of a relationship and doing well, but then at some point you go back to something that didn't serve you well. You go back to hanging out with your friend such and such, who always seems to find themselves in trouble. And that was the very reason you stopped hanging with them in the first place. But now all of a sudden they called and you just said, you know what, yeah, okay, I'll hang out with you. And the one hangout turned into 3 hangouts, and now you're back in this routine of behaviors that don't serve you, right? So trying not to be your own enemy within, right? What else does that entail? Your thoughts, right? Because we can show up as having it all together. We can show up as being in a good energy, positive people, loving life, loving on people, walking in our purpose, some of all these catchphrases and whatnot. We can show up like that, but inside our thoughts might be saying, you are such a loser. You are so phony. These people just don't know the half. You are trash, okay? I don't even know why you acting like you know what you're talking about. You don't know nothing. These people gonna find out about you soon enough. Look at you. You want to try and help somebody. You can't even keep your shoes in order at your own house. Like whatever it is, right? But your thoughts are just not good. They are unhelpful. They are distorted, right? You know what? Yeah, so you're planning to throw this event. The last time you had an event, what happened? 12 people showed up, right? But 30 people registered and only 12 showed up. Yeah. Same thing's going to happen now, right? So overgeneralizing, right? It happened then, it's going to happen again. So our internal dialogue, our thoughts, our self-perception, these are all things that contribute to us being our own enemy within. Because nobody knows what I'm thinking about myself unless I say it out loud. People who are paying attention at times, though, can see what you may be saying to yourself or about yourself by the way that you act. Your behaviors will communicate how you see yourself. Your behaviors will communicate what you think about yourself, right? Say, for instance, something as simple as getting your nails done or your hair done, or getting a haircut, right? Or buying certain kinds of clothes, right? And maybe you're like, what, I could just go to the thrift store and buy some clothes. And it's like, well, all of your clothes are coming from the thrift store. You actually work, you have the ability to buy clothes. You don't even want to go to like Old Navy or somewhere like that has quality clothes, but you don't have to pay an arm and a leg for them. Like, no, for what? Why would I spend all that money? That's a waste, right? And it's like, wow, we're not talking about designer brands. We're talking about affordable quality brands. And you are skipping that to go to the thrift store when you have the means to actually purchase these things. Could it be that you don't think you're worth that? Right? Equally, what if it was a person's birthday, right? And the same person who is willing to only go to the thrift store and deny something as simple as like a Ross or Old Navy. And they say, well, so-and-so's birthday is coming up. Okay, well, I'm going to go to and insert maybe a designer brand, maybe the very store that they wouldn't shop for themselves. They're going to go there and purchase items for this person whose birthday is coming up. And it's like, well, wait a minute. How come you spent your money to buy a birthday present for this other person from the same store you wouldn't shop at for yourself? What's different, right? So sometimes our behaviors can communicate how we feel about ourselves and what we may be thinking about ourselves, even though we haven't verbalized it to other people. So again, these are ways that we can be our own enemy, right? Enemy within, that conflict, right? And so when I chose the name, I wanted to help people not stay there. I wanted to have something that would, promote this concept of, if there's an enemy outside, then let them be outside, right? And this concept that I'm not going to beat myself and I'm not going to beat on myself. Therefore, when the enemy outside comes, then they have the ability to actually be successful against me because I've done half the work for them, right? I don't want that to be the case for myself or for other people. So even as I think about the name of my business and where it came from, I also internalize it for myself, right? How am I being my own enemy, right? And that could be self-doubt. Oh, am I a good therapist? Am I doing enough work? Am I promoting enough? Am I helping my patients enough? And wondering all of those things and moving in a place of self-doubt, that can be a way that I would be my own enemy. So just to kind of wrap this up, I wanted to come on, reintroduce myself, talk a bit about my business, why it has the name that it has, where it's rooted from, and what it's trying to do. So while the focus is OCD, social anxiety or social phobia, some depression, anxiety-based disorders, also can help people with other things, right? Connecting dots and changing behavioral patterns. That's something else that I offer. And so wanting people to know better and do better, as cliche as that is, but wanting people to have better insight, honestly, insight into their own experiences and how they connect to who they are today, how those past experiences have influenced that person's thinking style, and how that person's thinking style is now impacting how they show up in the world across all settings: work, romantic relationships, family relationships, anything like that. So I hope this was helpful. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to put them in the comment section and I will get back to you. I will answer. Take care. Bye.